Hello?
What's going on?
Nothing much.
I turned down my podcast so there wouldn't be an echo, like feedback.
Okay, good.
So you'll notice some lack of feedback right now.
I'm sorry about that.
So yeah, I don't think the FBI is going to go after you just for being a member of the site, since nobody can show that you did anything edgy on there, and you went on record saying it was just a mistake. So account deletion doesn't remove the past anyway. Everyone knows you were on there.
Well,
They saved your video and everything off YouTube.
I just deleted my YouTube account because of this.
But I mean, people could still have downloaded it.
And
they could re-upload it.
And what was been happening with me has been cyberbullying has been going on, and they called me a pedophile. I'm not a pedophile.
Well, yeah, but even if you were, that wouldn't be bad or anything.
I just asked politely to delete my account because I don't want to have to be on this website.
Oh, really? Did you clarify that you're actually just a hebephile?
No, I'm not clarifying that. I'm none of those things. It's disgusting.
Not even a pubophile?
No, none of that. I created an account by accident because I was curious, but now I feel how bad it is, and I just want it deleted. Is it possible if you can get it down, please?
I mean, I could rename it or something.
Yeah, go ahead, rename it, because I do not want to be involved with this.
Oh, yeah. What am I going to rename it, though?
Come up with something.
How come this one doesn't have a video for your podcast? It's just audio, isn't it?
Yeah, it's just audio. But I wanted to interview you. And ask you a few things.
Oh, yeah. Go for it.
Why did you create this website?
Let's see. Originally, it was called Near Cells, so it was a place for people who have trouble getting laid, but they might possibly have it happen at some point. Because things are very polarized. They were like, okay, you're either an incel or you're a normie, and I was like, well, there's a lot of people in between, and a lot of people on like incels.co are kind of in between. So I was like, I see a niche here. So I created that, and then after a while, I was like, I noticed that these folks here who are anti-rape and anti-pedo, they cause a lot of problems because they're not real anti-feminists. They're not really for patriarchy all that much. Because if you have those viewpoints where you think things like consent matter, then you basically have given in everything to the feminists at that point. So I was like, if we're going to have a system where society can function, we need to have patriarchy, because that's how you have like strong families and stuff. You can have a stable family unit. And, in order for that to happen, then the marital contract, that has to continue. People can't back out of it and say, okay, I don't consent to it anymore. If you want to raise kids, you have to, for like over 20 years, you got to have something in place that's going to last. So, it needs to be that arrangement where like the husband provides for his wife, the wife provides sex, and, they don't back out of it. So, and then, I realized consent doesn't matter either, because like women's perception of being raped pretty much depends on whether they think the relationship is going well. If they decide that it went south, then they're reinterpreted as rape anyway. So such and such. So anyway, yeah. Then I took it in the rapey direction, and then I was like, well, now that we have these girls showing up, maybe we can get some relationships together, people who are like-minded, who believes in like male dominance, female submission, and who don't believe in people have to be 18 to get married or like to have a relationship. We can match these people up who have similar compatibilities, and we could just share our like rapey ideas, fantasies, plans, wishes, things of that nature. They could share their nudes and stuff. That's that can be part of sometimes. That can be like a jailbait pill. That shows. People see younger people naked and they're like, oh, okay, yeah, these are actually hot. I forgot they were hot. It's been so long since I've been in middle school or whatever. I forgot how hot girls that age were. So that's something. And, it was successful for a while. The thing that happened, though, was that the site, I think that the girls were too scared to go meet people. And, maybe some of these guys weren't all that high quality anyway. Like, there was a lot of trust issues, so I think that aspect of it ended up failing. And then a lot of these girls probably just wanted to role play also, rather than do anything seriously. So what happened there was, I think the guys got discouraged after a while after they got flaked on too many times. And then once we realized the girls had gotten the better of us, then I think some of that rapey energy kind of dissipated. Plus we got some cucks in there who started saying, like, they just want to compliment the girls, encourage them to share pics. But some of them are like, oh yeah, I'm pedo, but I'm not rapey. I think consent matters. I just think age is just a number. I'm probably gonna have a sweep and get rid of some of these guys, try to get some hardcore rapey people back in. Get rid of some of the girls who aren't gonna show their nudes because it's like, well, we know we're not gonna meet up, so if you're not gonna contribute nudes, then you're basically dead weight at this point. So yeah, I'm probably gonna have some reforms, try to go back hardcore. So that's it in a nutshell.
Really? That's interesting. My next question for you is your real name Nathan?
Yeah.
That confirms it. Okay. So, Mr. Nathan, let me ask you this. When you update the website, is it possible if you can add like a, delete button to settings of your account?
Well, see, if we were going to do that, the way it would be like a deactivate button. I would rather do that than a delete button because delete's irreversible. Deactivate, like I have on Facebook, it just like makes your content disappear, but it's still in the database. See, that's what Facebook did. They don't want people to actually leave. For the longest time, they resisted having a delete button. They're like, nah, just deactivate. And then, as soon as you log back in, it all comes back. I think it's better to have it reversible. See, I come from Wikipedia. I've edited Wikipedia a lot, and that's the great strength of it is everything's reversible.
But that'd be a good idea. You can have a deactivate and a delete button, or disable.
Well, yeah, but I mean, you can't change the past. I mean, if you remember the site, you remember the site. I mean, the past is what it is. I guess people might be like, oh, okay, I did some edgy stuff, It's like, well, I guess I get what they're coming from, kind of, but whatever.
You remember who I am, right?
Yeah.
Lance.
I mean, it would matter more if they were actually doing anything, but they haven't actually done anything. Like, they haven't actually met up. It was like maybe one hookup that happened off the site, and that's it. So, and I don't think that's going to result in any legal action. So, it's just kind of doesn't even matter that much.
Now let me ask you
Most
this.
people didn't reveal.
Let me ask you this. Are you running for Congress?
No, I did that a couple of years ago.
And they turned you down, right?
I withdrew.
Would you ever consider that again?
At the time, I pretty much promised myself I wasn't going to do it again. I mean, it's a lot of work. You have to gather 1,000 signatures, and yeah, I don't know if I have anything more to say that I haven't already said. I mean, I have pretty much the same views. You can run over and over on the same platform if you want, but it probably gets old after a while.
I was going to ask you something else, but I can't figure out what I was going to ask you. This is very important. This kind of puts my life in danger. You know, I remember what I was going to tell you. Yes. You got doxxed on Doxspin. Did you know that?
Yeah, I saw that.
How do you feel about that?
It's whatever. You know, it's too bad that so many companies have these data breaches where stuff leaked out. You know, that could have been bad.
Well, I got doxxed too, but I paid to remove it. You know how much it costs to remove? Do you know how much it costs to remove that?
$130.
No, 30 Bitcoin for one time, 60 Bitcoin for blacklisted.
That's a lot of Bitcoin. How much? I didn't know you were rich like that.
Well, sometimes you have to be rich.
Because that's like what, $300,000 or something.
I assume. I don't know.
30 Bitcoin. Alright, I'm gonna look it up. Yeah, that's 328,000 USD.
Wow, that's a lot of money.
Yeah.
Well, to be honest with you, I got scared. I got paranoid. I didn't want to be on the website anymore. And now I don't know what to do.
Oh, yeah, you got too panicked. You know, you can't let these blackmailers get the better of you. You know, you gotta, they don't have a lot of leverage unless you give them leverage, so you have to be careful.
Have you heard of the UTTP?
It rings a bell. Let me look that up.
The YouTube Troll Police.
Oh, yeah, I noticed you got targeted by a lot of people. I think once you showed weakness, I think they just all came after you.
They ganged up on me, and I was in Discord chat room, and they just kept calling me pedophile. I couldn't take it anymore. I think it all started when I got involved with this website.
Yeah, that's how it goes.
And they tried to expose me. They called the FBI on me.
Well, the FBI gets a lot of frivolous reports, so I think they ignore most of them.
But I'm still not safe here. What could you do on your side?
I changed your account name to something.
Can you change the email address?
I mean, that's doable, but what difference does it make, really?
You have a good point there. What if I gave you the details to the account? Can you log in it?
I mean, I can change passwords and all that kind of stuff.
Well, go right ahead. Go right ahead. I don't want to log in ever anymore.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Change it to whatever you want so that I can never log in again. And you heard about Anonymous, right?
Oh, yeah.
Anonymous said they would leak everyone's personal information.
Yeah, I don't know how they would do that. I don't think there's a lot of weaknesses in the security.
Just let me know when you change your password, alright?
Oh, okay. Yeah. Then you won't be able to get back in though unless you reset it.
Which I'm never gonna do, to be honest with you. And the number you just called is a throwaway number. I can delete this phone number.
Yeah, no, I heard you setting it up. But yeah, I mean, it's just a website at the end of the day.
Yeah, true.
It's not even. The publicity kind of came and went. It ran its course, basically. That's the thing. It's like we weren't able to really walk the walk. That's the thing. You know, men think that they can exist in this feminist society and be patriarchs and dominating and whatnot. You know, most of them aren't really able to walk the walk because they got a lot of stuff going against them. And like in this case, they had to actually, you know, get a girl to show up at a particular place. You know, if they're going to kidnap them or whatever. If she doesn't cooperate, then yeah, they're going to have trouble actually being all that rapey. Not all of them even own a white van, so that's a problem as well. A lot of them don't have basement dungeons set up or anything.
Like, I search your full name, but I don't want to say it because I respect your privacy. I'm going to just call you Nathan. But if I say the last name, you know, it's kind of discouraging.
Yeah, it is what it is.
I know it starts with L, but I don't want to say it.
Yeah.
But it might be the title of this podcast. I interviewed you.
Might be.
I interviewed you. I asked you a few questions. So, what kind of phone do you have?
It's a Samsung.
You should get iPhone. It's better.
Sort of. Although Apple's gone downhill in recent years, so I don't think it's as good. I don't think it's really worth all the money anymore.
What's your opinion about Apple?
Well, you know, they removed the headphone jack. Yeah, even Steve Wozniak thought that was a bad move.
Yeah, now you have to find these special headphones you have to plug in order to use it with the headphones.
Yeah, no, one might almost think it's like a scam to get you to buy extra hardware. But, you know, I guess the theory behind it was they were like, well, it uses up extra space and it's only can be used for one device. But that was kind of I guess it is kind of a bad design, isn't it? The headphone jacks as we know them, because it always seems to break and then you can only hear out of one ear. That's my experience.
So, did you change your password yet?
No.
Well, let me know when you change the password.
That's all. There's this. It just stores it as a hash anyway, like a salted hash. So it's not like your data is compromised or anything. Plus, it's like people are always like, "Oh, it's gonna go to the FBI. How would it go there?" Like it's sitting in a server room in another country in a like undisclosed location. So.
Or you changed the name from MCL 771 to something else, right? You changed something.
Yeah.
You did?
So you might not even know where it is now.
You did?
Yeah, I changed your username.
Good. So now when I Google MCL771, it won't come up, right?
Yeah, it won't. No, the other thing about Apple was that, it seems like I keep getting logged out of the Apple store, and then it's like, I always have to reset my password. That's kind of lame also. Like every time I want to install the new software. It's like, oh yeah, you have to enter your password, and then it's like, it doesn't work. And then it's like, we try to change it, and it's like, you got to use this password before you can use it again.
Well, I'm going to have to plug in because my battery's going to die.
I just find that inconvenient because I don't see Android requiring you to, like, have an account at the Android store. They just let you download software.
I don't know, man. I mean, some people say you're a disgusting person.
Yeah.
How do you feel about that?
Maybe I'm just more open about stuff. Like, yeah.
Well, I just dislike it, you know. If you want to,
judgment anyway, disgusting. It's like, yeah, people can be conditioned to be disgusted by different stuff. It's kind of like if you're religious, then if somebody says like the Lord's name in vain, you're like, that's terrible. But you know, if you're not religious, then you don't care. It's the same thing with like anything else. People are conditioned to be disgusted by, whether it's like incest or pedophilia or whatever. It's just it may not even be something inherent. You know, maybe society just told them it was bad, and so they've had to program themselves to be disgusted by it.
it's just like one of those things that I don't like. If you're going to do it, don't do it openly in public. Like, just keep it down low and not say anything about it and do it in your privacy.
Yeah, I mean, that's what you have to like. That's how you get in touch with like your nature, though. Like if you're reading erotica, you're looking at pictures, you discover what turns you on, and then you're like, oh, okay, this is my nature. You know, otherwise you might not have known. So like, if people keep everything secret, then you may never discover what potentials you have, and then it's like you don't really know yourself completely.
Let me ask you this. This is very important. Do little kids turn you on?
I mean, sometimes, like if they're sucking a dick or something and they're doing a really good job of it, I mean, I can get turned on by that.
Huh, interesting. Do you believe that anybody can have sex no matter the age?
When you say can,
This is serious.
You mean like morally, or what are you talking about here?
I'm talking about generally. In general.
I mean, I believe in men being in charge, so like if we want to use little girls that way, like if that's our property, then we can just go ahead and do it. I mean, that's why they exist. Like women are mostly just here for our pleasure. I mean, they're like we men are the ones who built civilization, so women are just here to like have our kids, to give us sexual pleasure and stuff, like and assist us in various ways. But yeah, I don't see why we shouldn't be able to just see fit to be like, okay, well, I want to start using them for this at a younger age. I mean, that's, you do with your property what you want to. Yeah, then you face the consequences of doing that in the sense of, you know, if you destroy your property, then now you don't have it anymore. So that's the downside of if you make a bad decision.
What do you mean by destroying?
Well, I don't know. Like people will say, like if people say, oh, if you have sex with kids, you damage them. If that's true, then, and then you like say, you know, you have a daughter or something, and then you damage her, then, you know, you have to deal with the consequences of that because now you have this daughter who's damaged. So, yeah, it could have.
So, anyways, what do you mean by damaged? You mean by murdering?
It could be that. It could be whatever you do, or you know, same thing with like a wife or whatever. You know, if we harmful, and then he gets criticized by Congress. They condemn his report. So it's better just let individual families experiment, and let people find out for themselves sometimes. Just like, with the coronavirus or whatever, with the coronavirus, we've learned that we can't trust our government to manage our health affairs and tell us the truth about what's harmful and what's not. They've gone way overboard with it. And so if they would go overboard with that, why wouldn't they do the same? They did the same thing with pot. They're like, oh yeah, pot kills brain cells. That turns out to be false. So if we can't believe them about that, why would we believe what they say about pedophilia or, sex with kids? It's all suspect at that point because their credibility is shot.
No, I'm kind of disturbed by this. I mean, I don't know who I can trust when it comes down to this.
Yeah, well, at that point, I just rely on my own instincts. I'm like, well, I'm a creature that has evolved through millennia of evolution, and so if I've evolved to be attracted to something, maybe it's not that bad. Because if it were that bad, maybe it would have been selected against. It wouldn't have been an evolutionarily stable strategy. But if I've evolved this way, then maybe I was meant to be that way.
I don't know.
I give it the benefit of the doubt. Because, the scientists, they can have a conflict of interest, and the scientists are funded by the government. The government is always trying to control us for their own purposes. Those don't always line up with ours. It's all different political factions, trying to get power, trying to use science as a way. Why is the coronavirus thing? Why is that a big deal? They want to hurt Trump. And then Trump was weak enough, he just went along with it.
All right, for me, I don't know about this thing.
Why do they want to destroy fatherly authority? Why do they want to make men not have any power anymore and have women control stuff? It's because they want to weaken the family, then the government can control more stuff. Because if the family is a source of culture, people have these bonds that are independent of the government, and the government can't control stuff this much.
I'm sorry, I'm a quiet man. I just think about stuff to say sometimes.
Yeah, it's even hard to really figure out if there is some grand master plan or if it's just people screwing things up. But yeah, feminism came about just by men being kind of weak and being like, well, women say they want this stuff, so let's just give it to them. And then it just kept going on from there. Once you start surrendering, you just keep surrendering more. And then they want more, and then they see, the stuff that we got is still not making us happy, so let's just blame that on men also. And then it gets to a point where we can't really do any right. No matter what we do, they say that we're rapists. So.
Knowing me.
And then society falls apart because we're not even, the fertility rate's so low. People aren't even producing a lot of kids anymore. So this isn't sustainable.
Knowing me, I'm going to say this. I'm against all of this. I'm not a rapist, and I never was.
Okay. Well, so I would ask, okay, let's say there's a married couple, and they want to raise kids, right? So let's say that the wife stops wanting to have sex, she's just nah, and then they end up with a sexless marriage. How are they going to keep their family together, given that the man still needs sex? If he's not allowed to rape her.
What, say that again?
Okay, say there's a sexless marriage, right?
Right.
And they have young kids. So how's the husband going to deal with this inner conflict where he's like, okay, I want sex, But on the other hand, I want to stay with this woman, and she's not having sex with me. And but I need to stay with her for the sake of the kids. So what's he supposed to do? Like, if he can't rape her, then what is he supposed to do about the situation? You know, you see this on, like, Reddit, like Dead Bedroom subreddit, and you know, they even say on the sidebar, they say, no suggesting rape is a solution. That's probably because everyone would say, well, just rape her. And, you know, maybe a lot of those wives kind of want that anyway. They would rather just start taking charge.
That would be the wrong idea. I'd get a lawyer, a divorce lawyer.
Well, yeah, but then they split up, you know, then they're not getting to raise the kids together, so that might be in their benefit.
But then that's devastating to the kid's life. They don't have a parent to live with.
Yeah, so it's a bad situation, but it's probably better if he just goes ahead and rapes her, and then the family stays together, he gets sex, you know, he's still providing for her, and everyone's happy pretty much.
I guess some people ask a question when they talk to you. What the fuck is wrong with you? Maybe that's what they ask when they talk to you when you say this stuff.
I just try to think logically about things, and I don't let the political correctness get in the way because I don't really have a lot to lose.
I mean,
but
going
there. It's not fun. Yeah.
I mean, going there and putting myself on the website, that could literally put me in danger. I'm happy I had this conversation with you.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, the thing is, you can tell the way things are now, it's not sustainable. You know, the fertility rate being so low. So that's always something I would ask. But then feminists will be like, well, we'll just subsidize having more kids, although that doesn't work either. Yeah, you pretty much just need to make women property. That's what it all comes down to. Otherwise, we're going to die out as a species.
You know, another good thing is that you don't need women. You can just masturbate. If you feel the need to.
That's okay, like, when you're alone. But if you're, like, in a relationship and you have, like, your wife there who's supposed to love you and she could have sex with you and she doesn't want to and you just have to masturbate, that's going to feel really bad.
That's the way it works.
Like shit.
For me, that's the way it works.
I mean, it's one thing if you're alone, you know, but if you actually have some woman there who's, you know, she's supposed to be having sex with you and then she just doesn't want to, I don't even see, like, if you raped her anyway, she'd probably get into it after, like, a few minutes, so it wouldn't even matter.
Nah, I got very uncomfortable with the website. I was comfortable at first, but then I got uncomfortable. I feel very uncomfortable.
Well, that's probably because those guys were threatening to call the FBI and stuff.
Maybe it was that too, but that's considered cyberbullying. They cyberbullied me to no end.
I know. You had a lot of good videos and you erased them.
I am done. I am done with YouTube. I'm done with Twitch. I'm done with Twitter. I'm most likely done with Rapey.
What are you going to do with the rest of your life?
I don't know. Find a way to make money.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to do.
I mean, I get paid.
That's why I had so much trouble.
I get paid the podcast, so that's a good thing.
Yeah, like these girls on the site, they'd be like, oh yeah, I would run away to be with you, but you need to get your own place first. So I'm like, dang, gotta get money now.
I don't think it's even worth it to run away. Because I wind up having a missing person report.
Well, yeah, I mean, no risk, no reward though. I mean, those jail baits are pretty hot.
No, I'm actually kind of disturbed by it.
I mean, they're bored, they're horny, so they want to run away. They're like, they want to get drunk and like have a man buy them dresses and stuff. So they just want to be like a grown woman. Like by the time they're 14, they're like totally tired of being with their parents. Even by like 11, they're kind of like starting to want to explore their sexuality and stuff. So
They also said,
I mean, they don't have to.
they also said this about me. This guy watches child porn. I do not watch child porn.
Oh yeah, you know. I don't think there was any on there.
Are you sure about that? I asked the question, are you sure about it? Are you sure about that?
Well, I don't think you saw any child porn.
No, never in my life, and I never will.
Okay. That's, I guess you made your statement then.
Yes, I make myself clear. And one time I went into a Discord voice chat with them, and they were ganging up on me. I should have kept the recording to play it back for you, but sadly, I deleted it.
Yeah. Yeah, you can't let them manipulate you. You have to kind of think through things logically because they don't really have a lot of leverage unless you tell them stuff that gives them leverage.
Like, what am I supposed to tell them? I know I can't go back there.
Yeah, you can just hang up on them. You can tell them they're losers, and yeah.
I mean, it could work, but they don't back down. They already have my real address, my location, where I live. They know everything about me.
Oh, well, like, what are they going to do? I mean, it kind of depends on how you're trying to make money and stuff, but yeah, it shouldn't be a huge thing. If you're trying to, like, make money through normie channels, that may not even exist in the future. Society maybe is going to collapse. We don't even know.
How about this debate? Is the earth round or flat?
I think it's round.
Some people say it's flat, some people say it's round. I honestly don't know.
Well, I guess go out into space and look at it.
And maybe look round when we go up into space.
So you're saying it might be an illusion?
Possibly. I could go like for 3 hours on Podbean. If you never heard of Podbean, it's my favorite podcasting app to do live recordings.
Uh-huh.
Are you familiar with Podbean? It's on Android as well. Podbean. Podbean.
Oh, yeah.
And I have to say this too.
By the way.
Yes?
Yeah.
What were you going to say?
I was going to say, with child porn, a lot of stuff is kind of subjective anyway, because, like, two people can look at one picture, and it can be kind of ambiguous sometimes, because it's like, okay, let's say some kid, like, spreading their legs or something. That could be, or it might not be. It really depends. Maybe they're just doing gymnastics. Maybe they're trying to be sexy, so in that sense, is there any definitive answer to whether we've seen it? Because it really is a matter of opinion.
Yeah, for me, it's just disgusting, disturbing. I never really seen anything because I don't care about it. Anyways, I was going to tell you this. I'm autistic.
Well, I mean,
And
that
I'm
just
tw-
seems officially awkward.
and I'm 28.
I thought you were younger. Okay. I thought you were like 21 or something.
No, 28. And I'm an autistic person, in case you didn't know. What's your opinion about that?
Oh, yeah. Well, I just feel like it's just a label they put on people. I mean, I've been, like, they used to just call them nerds. Now they call them autists. Like, if you're socially awkward and you're into obscure stuff, now they call you autistic. But it's just another, they've turned it into a clinical thing, whereas before it was just like a social construct.
Or
Like
when
what was
it used to be...
being a nerd was not considered a clinical thing back in the day.
Or, yeah, it used to be retardation or something.
Yeah, well, I mean, nowadays, like Stephen Urkel, they'd probably say he's autistic or something, whereas before they were just like, well, he's a geek or something.
I know you've been asked this question, but are you autistic?
I mean, I might be, but it's, like I say, it's just a label. It wasn't until lately that I actually got diagnosed with that.
At what age?
I've been evaluated many times.
At what age were you diagnosed with it?
So I'm thinking that would have been in 2016. So would have been like 35.
And you think you're autistic now?
I mean, people call me that a lot, but it's just another word. It's kind of like neurotic was a word people threw around a lot. That was an official psychiatric word. Now you never hear it anymore, really. Very rarely. So autistic, 20 years from now, people may not be talking about that anymore. They may have some new word for it. It used to be back in the day, autistic was something, you had to have a really severe case of it before they would call you that. Like, you had to be basically not even able to say a complete sentence or something, and they'd be like, yeah, that's autism, like a severe case of it. Now they're really high-functioning people they call autistic. So, yeah, I mean, psychiatry, that's just driven by trends,
Do you see
different theories they come up with.
Do you see a therapist?
Huh?
Do you see a therapist?
Nah, I always found it did more harm than good, because it's a pain in the neck to go over there to talk to them, and then they usually just have a lot of judgmental stuff to say. And it's like, they haven't even been in my shoes, so how do they know? They don't know what it's like to be me, so how can they really give advice? Their lives are screwed up to the point where they couldn't think of anything else to do but become a shrink, so, how can they tell anyone else how to live their life?
Well, maybe I could become your therapist, but I don't know how to do a therapist's job. That's my problem.
Well, yeah, I mean, even you're kind of judgmental. You're like saying stuff is disgusting. I mean, that's just an aesthetic or moral judgment, and anyone can say anything's disgusting. That's just like some people don't like anchovies on their pizza. They say that's disgusting.
And I think child porn is disgusting.
What do you think about black licorice? Is that good or bad?
I don't like licorice.
Yeah, see, I love black licorice. So it's just a different taste. Yeah, did you ever see that movie Spartacus?
No, I haven't.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, like the original one, there's this scene where they're talking about snails, and they're like saying, it's just a matter of taste, whether you like it or not.
You have to have a required taste for that.
Yeah, I don't even like it actually. But he was talking to like his slave boy, and he was using it as a metaphor for what he wanted to do with them. So.
So, are you liking this interview?
It's okay. Yeah.
I didn't go too hard on you, I hope.
Not really. You kind of repeat the same talking points, so you're like, yeah, it's disgusting, or what's the other word you use? Disturbing.
Yeah, because I know right from wrong. I know it's wrong.
Oh, okay. What's your morality based on?
My morality, I haven't really thought of that.
Oh. So, like, how do you decide whether one thing is bad and another thing's good? Like, how do you judge it if it's kind of ambiguous?
This is where it gets tough, You have to think about these things. I know it's wrong in the sense that if I have kids, I'd never do anything wrong to them, I'd just treat them nicely and friendly, but never how you would say it. If you get what I'm saying.
I guess. I mean, after you've been screwed over enough times in life, I think morality can kind of slip away a little bit because you realize, okay, even if I'm nice to women, they still might be pretty bad to me. So then it's like, who cares anymore?
I just want all this to die down and wait a year for it to stop.
Uh-huh. Did you go to school, by the way? Like, did you, like, go to college?
I never went to college, but I graduated high school.
Uh-huh. So, like, do you do any trade or anything? I don't know if you want to say, but... Oh, you just do podcasts?
I'm doing podcasts and I make music, but that's a different story. And I'm currently in a day program. Where I get a day program where I get a $12 check. It's not much.
What kind of thing is that?
Oh, it's like something where they find a job for you, but it takes a long time.
Oh, yeah, they probably take a lot of the money.
I believe it.
If it's like temping or something, yeah, they probably take a big cut of it.
Oh, since I mentioned that I did music, might as well tell you the name to search on YouTube. It's MCL Rapper with no space. And it will be the very first thing.
Yeah, okay. Wait. Oh, it did it like a... Can't tell if that's an L or an I.
MCL Rapper.
Does this have something to do with Project Jorgo, too?
Yes, that's exactly, you found it. So you can subscribe to that, but you probably won't get any new music because my releases on Amuse have been failing. That's pretty much the last of it. I'm done for. I'm fucked.
Well, this stuff happens. You just move on to something else. I'm gonna try to start a tech company. Become like a tech billionaire or something if I can.
What are you gonna name it?
I should probably secure the domain before I disclose it.
Yeah, that would be a good idea. But I don't know anything about running domains and stuff.
Actually, it doesn't matter because even if I disclose it, like, there's so many, like, I may not be able to go with .com anyway because my domains get taken away from me a lot. So it's like, if you want to have anything edgy, you have to go for some really obscure domain. That's why
Well, I do have a website I run myself. Now, this isn't a disgusting website. It is a website that's called Lance is Not a Pedophile.
Okay.
And the tag, the link is LANCEISNOTAPEDO.TINKEE. No, not EE. It's .TINKERRIO.
Okay.
Did you get that?
No.
You received text message?
Yeah, you can send it that way. That works.
Okay, well, I have a second phone number. You have so many phone numbers, I know. So you're in the call right now, but I just send it. Your phone multitask, right?
What?
Your phone can multitask?
Yeah, it's a smartphone.
Exactly. So I'll just send it on my second phone number. Did you get it?
It says I have something, yeah. Hang on. Oh, yeah, that's a complicated domain there. Hang on. Game of Lamps?
Yes.
Yeah. My side of the story, dang. You know, I mean, you might as well just take responsibility, though, when you could sign up to it, so. And then you put it on YouTube, you know, so. Also, on your About tab, your embedded YouTube vid is no longer there.
Yeah, I deleted all my posts on the profile. Because they deleted the videos. I deleted the podcast on the Anchor website.
Yeah, I mean, you probably should have just embraced your new identity as villain. I mean, it's what I've done. It gives you more relevance anyway. Like, what's the downside? They're not actually going to arrest you or anything.
Hello, Scene. Welcome to this interview. I get people in the Podbean app listen to us talk, so if you have anything interesting to say, you can go right ahead and bring it up.
Okay. I mean, it's your interview then.
Now, there's a lot of stuff I wanted to ask you about the website. What motivated you to make this?
Well, like I was saying, it kind of evolves over time. But yeah, like I've had an interest in having a rape website for a while, like a rape forum. Ever since I got involved in the incel sphere, I was like, well, this sounds like the natural solution to their problem. Just make women property and then rape them. I mean, then you don't have to worry about being involuntarily celibate anymore. All you have to do is earn enough money to buy one, and then you're set. So I was trying to be solution oriented rather than just have this attitude they have of boys wanting to just complain all day. And anyway, we have to go back to a system like that.
You said insults? What kind of insults?
Like incel, like INC.
Oh, incel.
Yeah.
I thought someone said would insult you, so you decided to open up a website because you were being insulted.
Oh yeah, they did kind of insult me. Well, they called me like fake cell and all that. time, like you have to be more incel to be part of that community than in the past, or otherwise they say that you're fake. So even though half their community is, people who've had relationships and stuff, basically it's just incel community is misogynists who pretend like they've never had sex.
Or you threaten the president. I heard about that one.
Uh-huh.
That's a big no-no.
At the time, I believed a lot in civil disobedience, like that you should break the law, that you should stand up against the tyrannical government, you should go to jail to try to make a point, for a principle. Yeah, instead of cooperating with the system, you should go ahead and fight against it, at least make like a symbolic gesture. But I guess they want to discourage people from doing that because they punish them pretty harshly.
Have you ever been to jail, Nathan?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not a good place to be, isn't it?
It's pretty miserable.
They give you jail food, and the jail food sucks.
And it depends. Once you go to the real prison, it's not too bad. It's probably pretty bad right now because all the prisons, they've shut them down, they've locked them down, like so they probably don't have like the prisoners working in the kitchen anymore, so the food is probably pretty terrible because it's probably just the bare minimum, like cheese sandwiches and stuff. Ever since COVID and then Black Lives Matter, they've locked everything down. They got all that stuff on high security these days.
I'm actually pretty scared myself because I don't want to go to prison.
Yeah, it's probably worse now than it would be under normal circumstances.
Were you scared? Were you scared when you're at prison?
Not very often. Like occasionally I'd get threatened and that would be kind of scary, but then people would be like, well, they're not going to do anything anyway, so. Because, where I was at, I spent like 2 years at a place that was mostly for sex offenders and snitches and stuff, and it was also some local people, and that was in Petersburg, and I'm not sure why I was sent there. Like, it could have been because I was local, or it could have been because I had like a harassment charge on my record that they considered a sex offense, so.
Was it like
didn't want to get shipped out of there.
Was it like a rehabilitation?
I mean, yeah, they had sex offender treatment there, but I didn't participate in that. Because, I guess, I can't remember if they even offered it to me, but my federal offense was not a sex offense, so I think they weren't real focused on trying to get me into that. But yeah, the thing about that place was people didn't want to get shipped out of it because they couldn't really walk any other yard. If they snitched on their gang or whatever, or they're pedophiles, then if they go to another prison because they misbehaved there, they might not be able to survive there. Or, they might not be able to move around freely. They might have to be going to protective custody. And even then, they might get beat up.
It depends on what you do there. If you do something wrong or say the wrong thing, I mean, you're most likely going to get beaten up.
Well, it depends on where you go, because you go to certain places, they might ask you for your paperwork, or they might find out some other way, and then you might have a problem.
Like, my problem with me, back in 2014, I put something on my Twitter that I shouldn't have put, and I was taken away to the mental hospital.
Oh, yeah, well, they'll do that. I mean, yeah. It depends, too, when they come to talk to you, and then they're like, hey, what'd you put there? and then they ask you questions in person, and depending on what you say, that might affect whether you go there.
And they hauled me straight off, and yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I had that happen just this past January. I was there for about a month.
I was in there for 7 days. Did you like it there?
Yeah, still do that.
Did you like it there?
Oh, in the hospital?
Yeah.
It got kind of old, and I noticed things have really changed. Like, there's a lot more degeneracy you see now. I don't remember seeing, like, there was a certain amount, but I think it's just gotten way out of hand. I even see that on the site. I think girls are a lot more degenerate than they used to be. But maybe they're just more open about it. Like, I mean, the sluttiness has really gotten out of hand.
Have you ever been swatted? Like a group of cops come at your doorstep.
Nah, they threaten that.
You've been threatened by that.
Yeah, I mean, someone just like yesterday was like, we're going to SWAT you.
Would they actually do it? We don't know.
Might try.
We don't know if they'd actually do that though. Because that's what I got worried about when I got doxxed. I was worried that would get swatted. Me too.
Well, actually, I mean, the SWAT team has been here twice. So, like those times that they got me for supervised release violations, like both times they sent the SWAT team, basically, federal like joint task force.
And they told you to put your hands up or
like,
something? What did they tell you to do?
So it's like they bust in the door, and then one thing, I'm like in my bed asleep, and the first thing I see is they've got that gun they're pointing, and it's got one of those tactical flashlights where it's got all the different colors, and it's making all these different sounds to disorient you. And then they're like, police, and next thing you know, they're grabbing you.
And they're like violent.
I mean, I don't know about violent, but they are pointing a gun at you. Yeah, at both times they did that.
That's what's scary.
The other time I was actually awake.
That's what's scary.
I was like at my computer. What?
That's what's scary about that. You never know when they're gonna shoot.
Yeah, I mean, and they always come at like 5 a.m. So like the other time I was actually awake. I was like at the computer. I had my back turned to the door. And then like suddenly the door opened. I thought it was like my mom, but no, it was them.
You still live with your parents?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, wow. Me too.
So they're like 3 feet away or 5 feet away or something. They're like looking at you through a scope from point blank range.
So they had a sniper.
I mean, he had a rifle with a scope. I know that much. And then they had these other guys in the yard carrying shields. So it was like multi-layer attack.
Are you scared about that? Are you afraid? Are you worried you'd get swatted again?
I mean, I think if you get swatted, you just have to make sure you don't point a gun at them, and hopefully you don't have any dogs. And we don't have any dogs, so they can't shoot my dog. I mean, I don't think they're going to shoot my cat, so I'll probably be okay.
And you have to follow their directions.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, it shouldn't be too hard. They're not really supposed to shoot you. Like, if you're unarmed and you know, you just have to make sure you're not like that, what's that guy's name? Shaver? Yeah, Daniel Shaver. You know, that he was in the hotel and he reached for his waistband and they shot him because they were like, we told you not to do that. I don't know if you saw that video before.
No, I haven't seen any videos. My only favorite videos of all time are when you type in Project Zorkel on YouTube.
Yeah. This is a pretty long podcast, isn't it? How long
Yes,
are your podcasts usually?
this app can go up to 3 hours, but I think I'm going to stop around 2 hours. So you have given me some information, just enough. Do you want to stop now? We can stop now if you want this.
I just didn't know if there was anything more to say, really.
Or you're all out of stuff to say.
I'll probably think of something afterward.
Oh, take your time.
So was that all they said you had was autism? They didn't say, like, depression or ADHD, personality disorder?
Well, I lied about depression, but I still have to take medication.
Oh, yeah. Which one is that?
Mylar.
I haven't even heard of that one.
Yeah, I have to take that every night now because of that, what I did in 2014. I have regrets for.
How do you even spell that?
Oh, you could ask Siri. What is Vylar?
Oh, Vylar?
Yeah, Vylar. Not that kind. She got it wrong. Vylar medication. Vylar, yeah.
Yeah, I haven't even heard of this. They've got a lot of new ones. Antipsychotic. Oh, okay. Bipolar.
I'm not even diagnosed with bipolar. Bipolar is like when you get angry, sad, or happy, or you switch moods automatically.
Yeah. See, I don't have the manic one, so that's why I don't think I've gotten diagnosed with that. Because somebody's trying to use an excuse now to say, what if we're unable to take pictures? Like, my phone's camera is busted and my computer doesn't have a webcam. It's a likely story.
No, I'm gonna have to end it. I'm gonna have to end it short.
Okay.
Yes, I'm here. Okay, I come back. It's been nice interviewing you. I'll talk to you later, I guess.
Okay. Catch you later.
You don't mind if I use your full name in the podcast title?
It's fine.
Alright, bye. That guy's is Nathan Larson. I mean, a decent podcast for anybody who listened to it. So, yeah. It's disturbing. I know I can't keep saying that. It was alright. I mean, what's the middle name? Oh, I'm not putting that. I don't plan on putting that. Just the first, last name. You know, it's pretty much the end.